Black Friday just passed. This is the Monday after Black Friday. It's Cyber Monday. I'm doing a data set for Black Friday through Cyber Monday. That's a different set of information I'm working on. But I did do a dive on data for Black Friday. And I took as my first kind of research aspect, eBay. So you see to my side here, the article is in the description. You can click through and read the article, or you can just sit here and listen to me because I'm going to show you the same information in this video and talk about it and see what you guys think about it. If you want to leave a comment, that'd be great. But let's dive into it. So the name of the article is Black Friday Sneaker Data 2022, and this is part 1, how resale platforms are being shaped by Nike. The platform for today, eBay. So let's get into it. The discussion around excess inventory in various segments of retail is focused on slow sales due to a glut of product. Now, when I say the kind of consumer marketplace, I'm not just talking sneakers here. Every aspect of consumer area is crowded with a ton of different inventory. So there's this big glut. But I'm only focusing on sneakers. So in the sneaker segment, one of those narratives has been that Nike, who saw an increase to 44% on their inventory in their last quarterly report, would see a decrease in full price sell through. Now, what does that mean? When a shoe goes into a store, the account that buys the shoe, they want to sell it at the SRP that's listed on the box if it's on the box. But if a Jordan 1 Retro High OG is $180, they want to sell it at $180. What the market is saying is because Nike has so many shoes on sale, that those shoes that are at SRP will not sell at SRP because people are simply going to wait for them to go on sale. And if you look on the website right here, you see an ad even for Nike with the Zoom Freak at $111, the Pegasus Trail. The Zoom Freak is $130, the Pegasus Trail is a $140 shoe. But you notice that the KD15 is still $150, and the Deschutes ACG sandal is $80. And I think that is actually the retail price. But these two are markdowns for sure. But it's good to have this ad sitting here. If you can see it, I may be in the way. I just realized I may be in the way. So let me bump this over and shift the size of this page if I can, so you guys can see this, because I know I'm in the way. All right, there. Now you see the ad right there. And that's what I was just talking about. So I wanted to make sure I got that in, and I don't want to confuse you because I didn't have the ad in a way where you could see it. But if you see, like I said, on sale, not on sale, not on sale. I'm pretty sure the ACG or the Schutz. But the whole point is full price sale through is important because that's where you're going to get the majority of your profits, right? So we all know that. But it seems that analysts are saying you won't see this full price sale through because the wholesale partners have the loosest terms for MAP that they've ever had. Now, MAP is minimum advertised price, and typically you couldn't advertise a Nike shoe at a particular price because Nike wouldn't. They typically don't allow their MAP to be advertised to show these decreased prices. But with so much inventory, you actually have some Nike shoes that are $130 shoes being sold at $59.99, and you can see these sales kind of all over the place because Nike wants to clear this inventory. Now, let's get back into the article. So you got these predictions that the consumer would be unwilling to pay premium prices when other Nike products are available on sale. But the reality, and this is where we get into it, the reality is a lot different. Black Friday, after seeing the lines at the Nike stores on Black Friday, it's a completely different thing going on than what we all assume. Yeah, Nike has these sales, but the full price sale through is still going to happen for Nike, man. These lines outside of Nike were ridiculous on Black Friday. But you know where there weren't any lines? In front of the Puma outlet. There were lines in front of Converse, but not in front of, I'm thinking of the different outlets that are in that mall, no line in front of Under Armour. So Nike is an intriguing business because of how much control they have over the consumers' I guess I don't want to say their minds, but their hearts, maybe. Nike's inventory is always kind of shaped resale and, of course, retail. But here's an overlooked aspect of sneaker retail sales data. Nike Direct is contributing to problems for resale. Nike Direct, which is Nike's own sales, right? But this is the thing. If you search on Google for sneaker resale, you'll find a bevy of articles talking about sneakers as an asset class, or how sneaker resale will be an $8 billion segment, which I honestly think it's probably closer to that already, and it's not moving that way. I think it's been at that kind of place between 5 and 8 billion for a long time. But I also think it's been slowing down. But the thing about all of those different articles is that it has inspired people from every walk of life to try their hand at flipping sneakers. So it would be kind of easy for you to think that people getting involved in the sneaker game is a good thing for resale, because that means more people are being involved in sneakers. But the reality is resale has been really strange, and it's really inconsistent. And this is because resale is always reliant on the ability to acquire sneakers. The people that have access to bots are going to get the best shoes. Those people can make money. But there's not a huge amount of people. And the more people that become involved in botting, the less the value exists in that area. Things start decreasing and compressing. Same thing with people running out buying shoes, trying to flip them. Things start compressing, decreasing. Resale was also built on the idea that the sneaker brands weren't interested in it. But that's changed. Now, if you look over here to my side, you'll see this article, and it says, just like that, Rescue is shutting down this month as Nike Refurbished ramps up. You need to go through and click and read that article, because it's about the fact that Nike is getting into the resale area in a sense. They're taking shoes that have been damaged or shoes that have been returned, they're cleaning them, and they're putting them in their stores under a Nike Refurbished banner. I don't care what you say, that affects resale value of different shoes. So when we get into these kind of discussions, we realize that the brands are engaging into it. As a matter of fact, Adidas partnered with ThredUp. The market is getting compressed, and it has been. Things have been going down and trending down for a while. All right. Now, you see these pictures that I have in here. This is from eBay's authenticity page. And I'm putting those pictures in there because I'm going to get into a discussion on eBay. Before I do that, though, I want to talk about the investments into the resale marketplace. Foot Locker and companies like Farfetch, they've made investments into GOAT and Stadium Goods. So resale is being seen as an economic opportunity. Investments have slowed, though, in venture capital overall. So I'm not talking sneakers now, I'm talking venture capital, right? So we look at the venture capital marketplace, and investments have slowed down. As a matter of fact, we haven't even had that many IPOs on the stock market, because people are beginning to look at these businesses in a different way. I'm going to come back to that. So you have new platforms seeking funding in the sneaker resale space, which, funny enough, in sneaker resale, you still have a lot of investments going on. The Drop had a recent round of funding. Trade Block had a recent round of funding. But in venture capital overall, things are really slowing down because people are looking at actual revenue versus potential. In the sneaker marketplace, there hasn't been a whole lot of due diligence on the sneaker resale business. And I think it's because there's just not a lot of people like me out here who are crunching data and crunching numbers in regard to the sneaker resale business. So there are these huge misconceptions. But if people were crunching data, I don't think the hype would be as high on the sneaker resale marketplace, because by my data, resale has been trending down for years. I mean, from 2011 even until today. But you have these really important events that happen where you saw these spikes in resale. And it led to a misconception that the resale area is a growth area. And I do not think it is. I think it's leveling out, because the dollars that the brands are seeing their products being sold for, those brands are starting to move the prices up to eat away at that margin that you had where you could have flipped a shoe. That's off topic, but let's keep going. I think the biggest disruption to the sneaker resale industry is technology. In particular, StockX. The creation of StockX shifted resale considerably. And it simplified the process of removing risk. right? It simplified the entire process of selling shoes. Without the risk, a lot of people are resellers now who don't really understand the business aspects of sneaker resale. That's a different discussion. I'll come back to that. Or if you leave a comment and say, yo, you need to go back and talk about that. What do you mean? I'll do it. The ease of StockX has given all people the ability to participate in the market. Another problem that's contributing to an inconsistent sneaker resale marketplace was the 2020 COVID quarantine. Now, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the tech layoffs at Facebook and at Google or at Twitter. Obviously, everybody knows about that. But this great tech layoff of 2022 is a direct reflection of the growth in tech and digital that happened from 2020 to 2021. Do you know who's had 2 rounds of layoffs? StockX. But those rounds of layoffs were in line with what's happening with tech. You don't need that many people to run websites. So you're having a reduction in the workforce at these tech companies because a perfect person to look at is Scott Galloway, the professor over at NYU Stern. He talks about the fact that you can make $1 million with 100 people at Amazon or 10 people at Amazon. I mean, the numbers are ridiculous that he talks about when he looks at the amount of people needed to make revenue for a company in tech companies. Tech companies don't require a lot of people. StockX as a tech company is so good that it's disrupted other platforms. Now, another thing that has disrupted sneaker resale is the fact that those stimulus checks from a few years ago are now gone, obviously, inflation. And then you have the problems with the supply chain, which gets us back on point. And the problems with the supply chain a couple of years ago, that wasn't a big deal because the markets, the stores had closed down for so long, people were just like thirsty to get outside and go and buy. So in 2020 to 2021, you had the spike and you had more people doing resale than ever. So it looked like resale was doing fantastic and that this market was just exploding and everybody's like, hey, how can I get a part of that? So you had these investments in these different companies that started taking place. But as Nike continues their consumer direct acceleration via store openings, that's being overlooked as something that's contributing to the decline of sneaker resale. And I keep saying that, and we're getting to eBay. I promise you. I'm glad you're still here. If you're still watching, thank you. I've written on a number of occasions that Nike's direct growth will not only shape retail, but it will take away aspects of resale. Now, to prove my point, I dug into eBay, and this is where we get into this discussion on eBay. So I wrote this article that you see over here to my side earlier this year, and it's sneaker resale is broken. A year-over-year look at a month on eBay is astonishing. eBay came back and they did what? They went and put a lot of money into their eBay sneakers platform. So all of this investment, will it counter what I see as a trend, which is a decline? Will it counter it? I began to analyze eBay a year ago after a consulting session with the company. What I've discovered was never shared with eBay because the consult was limited as their new eBay sneakers team decided to go all out by acquiring SneakerCon and developing their own strategy. So I didn't get to give them a lot of the information, primarily because I understand how difficult it is for a company to listen to a negative report. And my words on eBay were negative. With the new team taking shape, it's hard for you to hear that your platform is bad. And I'm not saying that, yeah, I am. Let's get back into it. And I'm not going to change what I was about to say there. When I wrote this article above, it was a year-over-year analysis, which is what happens in any kind of analytical data set. You're going to see people compare a previous year quarter to the current year quarter, right? And I did that analysis on only 1 month. But this analysis allows me to stand strong in what I think about eBay as a platform. eBay has continued to decline as StockX grows. So here's a quick question. Do you think Nike's increase of inventory is positively or negatively shaping eBay? Now, this isn't live, so I can't hear your answer, but I want you to keep that in your head as we continue. The logical conclusion would be that the promotional environment for the biggest brand in resale would lead to a spike as it did post-COVID quarantine. Do you agree? Can't hear you rattling your heads or shaking. Can't hear you, but I'm pretty sure you agree. There's a major difference, though, in what happened after the post-quarantine, the COVID quarantine. That rebound and spike in resale from 2020 to 2021 is totally different. That growth was rooted in people being unable to get out of their houses for almost a full quarter. And that ramped up online purchasing, and that led to a return to stores after everything opened back up. But that ramp up in online purchasing is what contributed to what we have now with this great tech layoff. I know this is a lot. Nike's inventory issues right now, those arrive without any stipulations. There's no quarantine, there's no COVID, there's nothing that's hanging over this entire business. COVID is still a factor, but fewer people are dying from the virus, unless we're looking at China, and that's a completely different discussion. Consumers have had a year to adjust to the way the marketplace runs, and things are returning to these pre-COVID numbers where I said resale is slowing down. So what does this mean for eBay in a micro set of data focused on Black Friday? And that's where we really get started, and I'll make sure I put a note so people can jump straight to this section. With so much product available and no pent-up consumer behavior, what do you think is going to happen with eBay now? I use these guidelines to create my research for eBay. So my Black Friday research uses the keyword sneakers. I use the dates from Black Friday at 12 a.m. to Saturday night, which is a 48-hour window. And it's also the busiest window or the busiest shopping holiday season, right? So when you go back up here at the top and you look at this report that I did here, I used the slowest time of the year, which was April to May. Here I'm using the busiest time of year, which is Black Friday. So I'm looking at these 48-hour windows. And what I found, it should give eBay a lot of concern. You should have had a lot of concern here. I'm going to open this link in a new tab and go to it, because in this report, and I get into this discussion down here at the bottom a little bit, but I know you want to see, and I'm going to move this over. You can actually see pretty well this chart. Using that keyword sneakers, you had a year-over-year decline. Now, you can't see it so well because this was just charting the sales throughout the hours in 2021 and in 2022. So I was charting the sales throughout the hours for those 2 days, those 48 hours. But here are the numbers. And this is very difficult to look at. When I wrote this post right here, what we found is that slow period of the year for eBay showed a year-over-year decrease of 25.96% or 26%. Sales dropped for that 1 month period from 2021 to 2022, year over year. When I was out, right, for the retail dives on Black Friday this year, I made what I think is one of the most profound observations, and that is, and it was reinforced by a peer of mine. Nike outlet stores had lines long before the stores opened, and those lines remained long throughout the day. And this is what I said: Nike's excess inventory means a decrease in sales for every other brand. Consumers who would have visited a Journeys or Rack Room, they bought Nike product because it was cheaper than it's ever been on a Black Friday. Nike's excess inventory is a disruption for every sneaker brand. Now, this is the chart that shows the information that you have here. And that chart shows that in resale, Nike's ability to move more people into their digital funnel is also affecting resale platforms. Then again, is it really affecting resale platforms, or is it affecting eBay? Or is eBay being affected by something else? And I haven't given you these numbers yet. And I know you're looking and you're like, man, what are you about to say? In the next post that I'm doing, because this is a 2-part series so far, it may expand out and be a little bit more. I'm going to look at StockX, a micro set of data from StockX, versus this data that I'm giving you on eBay. And this is what you came to see. And I'm going to open this up so you can see it much more clearly and more defined. In 2021, eBay did, for Black Friday, 48 hours, they sold 57,233 sneakers. 2022, the decrease was considerable because that 57,000 was $6,431,000 for eBay for Black Friday. 2022, it decreased 31.6%. That is huge. It dropped from 57,233 sneakers down to 46,939 sneakers at 4,400,000. Almost a $2 million drop. 31.6%. But that's bad. I can't even say that that's not the worst part, because it's bad and it doesn't get better, because in 2021, the average price of those sneakers sold, the average price was $112.37. That means 2021, you were getting a pretty premium price there. You still have a premium price or a high price or a mid-tier price, but for 2022, it was a 16.6% decrease, down to $93.74 a pair. eBay, no matter the data set that I take on in resale, no matter the investments that they've made buying SneakerCon or acquiring SneakerCon, whatever they're doing isn't working right now. And you have to wonder if it's Nike or is it StockX. And that's what I'm going to get into in the next one. So I know that was long. I apologize for how long these are, man, but I'm going to edit this down. I think I can edit it and make it a little bit shorter, because the most important aspect of this discussion was here at the end, where you get to see these numbers in regard to eBay. But these are eBay's Black Friday's numbers. You have any questions, like I said, leave them in a comment and I'll put them up. We'll go from there. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. And I'll see you guys in part 2, which I'm going to work on and get done tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Peace, y'all.